What happens when a college student who barely shows up to history class writes a thesis paper on the Revolutionary War? Find out today when we talk about America, the motion picture. What's going on, everybody? It is Monday, so it's a new release, and this one is America, the motion picture from Netflix. Your TV party time. I'm David, along with Abbie and Mikal.
Hello, hello, hello.
And I think 1 out of 3 people liked this movie.
1.5. 1.5.
Hell no.
So definitely Mikal obviously hated this movie.
Oh yeah, I even told him 30 seconds in, I was like, oh god. I even picked this movie. I'm the one who said we should do this, and I regretted it instantly.
Yeah.
30 seconds in.
We decided this 3 weeks ago or something.
Uh-huh. Yeah. I saw the trailer. The trailer was funny. I was like, oh man, this looks so weird and silly. And I was like, we gotta do it. And then I'm like, why?
Yeah, because it's super Venture Bros-esque.
Mm-hmm.
And so I thought it was going to be along those lines.
Yeah.
It was the same animation style, but that's about it.
For me, it was just what was the show with there were just a bunch of, it was a Swedish metal band, Metalocalypse.
Metalocalypse?
It was just Metalocalypse, but a little bit different, based around America.
Yeah, that
Netflix.
over the top.
Yeah.
I mean, I love the movie because of how bad it was. But there's so many things that are so wrong about the movie.
Uh-huh.
There's so many things that are so wrong, for sure.
Timeline, continuity, the things that they make fun of are wrong. Even if they're making fun of something intentionally, it's making fun of it wrong. I don't know if it's on purpose or what.
I have so many thoughts. Okay, I appreciate that they're making fun of, shitty things about our culture. I appreciate that, sure, but in doing it, they're also, okay, for example, the hypocrisy, I can't tell if it's intentional or if it's just someone who's actually an asshole is pretending to try to care about not being an asshole. Because, for example, making fun of the Brits, all of the British soldiers have really fucked up teeth, which is clearly that stereotype. It's really shitty. We think it's funny, I guess, or we're supposed to think it's funny, but if you really analyze the mentality of making that happen, it's still really arrogant and shitty.
It's all just a super bro-y propaganda,
Yep.
satirical parody movie.
But it makes me think you don't really care about bringing light to these issues because you're actually just doing it to someone else who isn't in the spotlight.
They also really showed the American stereotype though by being super bro-y and all about drinking beer and all that.
Or even the moment when Geronimo, he's already lost his arm and he has to carry the spoons. If you really look at it, that's actually kind of a horrible joke to
That's every
all
joke.
the jokes in this.
but I mean a lot of the jokes are kind of just poking fun at things that we don't want to talk about that we do as a country. But that is just a horrible bro-y joke.
I mean the jokes just ride that fine line of
I just feel
too dark and or too
real. I don't know.
Yeah.
Not funny.
those are the two
or
parts.
it's just not funny anymore.
Well, I think, but I'm trying to say, it's actually still really insensitive and not a good joke. Actually, poor taste. If we want to be
consistent.
consistent,
That's the
if we
word.
want to be consistent,
That's
it's
the
poor
perfect
taste.
word,
Well,
yeah.
I think there are a lot of jokes that are truly funny.
Yeah, it's
But those
making
are
a
not
joke
funny.
out of the expense of
Yeah, it's
somebody's,
making
not
it.
character because you could change that, but their nationality, ethnicity,
Yeah, something that you cannot change, not having
all that sort of
not
stuff.
having an arm for so it's that's why it's for me. That's because whenever when I started watching the movie, I was all into it. I was like, yes, I'm so here for it. I love everything happening. And then after 15 or 20 minutes, I start seeing these hypocrisies or the duality. And I'm like, okay, actually, do they care about what they're trying to prove their point? Or are they just making this fashionable?
Yeah, I felt like they got an excuse to be edgy by just making fun of everything they normally can't, quote unquote can't, but they felt like they had a free pass to do it.
I feel like there were a few writers that genuinely cared about pointing out the errors in America's thinking. But so they were like actually trying to have like meaningful moments where they were like poking fun. But then it's like the bros just got most of the control, so they still just made shitty, poor taste jokes.
I feel like the bros ruined it.
Bro jokes.
The broness.
The bro mentality,
it.
like that arrogant, bro-y mentality. Only like about, for example, like the Geronimo joke or like the making fun of the Brits with the like, teeth.
It's some of the stuff, like not necessarily bro jokes. I'm saying bro jokes, like making fun of the bro-y side.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like just making jokes at other people's expense. Like it's like, okay, yeah, it would have been funny then, but it's not as funny now, or it's not funny now,
right?
And it's not needed to be funny when you've had so many other jokes in this movie that made no sense. Like the whole ease.
The ease.
Whenever they say like George Washington.
Oh yeah.
The dinosaur rancher. No, that's with an E.
Dinosaur rancher was funny. Okay, that was one of the funny parts.
It's all that random stuff where it's like it's actual like intelligent jokes, but then you make the blacksmith.
Oh yeah,
and he kept calling him Smith.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay.
That was probably the cringiest joke I think of the whole one.
Yeah, that's the best way to describe it. It's just cringe jokes.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's what I'm saying. It's like sometimes it felt like there was like I feel like it was probably a major argument in the writing room, because it's like some of the writers actually wanted to make good, funny jokes, even poking at like I was saying, even poking at like the racism that exists. But then there were like other people that didn't really care about that. They just wanted to make jokes at people's expense, and it was awkward and cringy.
Yeah, well, you can make it at people's expense if it's something that they can change or something that they do. But it's when it has nothing that you can control, that's when it's kind of quote unquote edgy to make a joke about that.
Mm-hmm. I like the cast. I think the cast did really well. I really liked Andy Samberg as Benedict Arnold.
Yeah, I didn't even realize it was him.
I did not know that until this very moment.
Simon Pegg plays King James.
Emperor Palpatine, you mean?
Yeah.
Because that's who that was.
The Emperor, the one that was really fat?
Yeah, King James.
That was Simon Pegg?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
I have to rewatch his bits.
So I'm going to break down. So the movie's plot is super simple. It's just the Revolutionary War. It's the British are coming to... Okay. Let me tell you this movie's plot compared to the actual Revolutionary War. It's the whole reason this war starts is because Benedict Arnold kills Abraham Lincoln, and so he has to get back at him. Mm-hmm. George Washington has to get back at him.
Let's point out a super important thing here.
We'll get to the timelines.
Oh no! Benedict Arnold is a werewolf.
We have so much to talk about after this plot.
Benedict Arnold's a werewolf. Okay, just saying that.
So he kills Abe Lincoln. He gets a crew together and he fights the British and then creates America. That's the plot. Mm-hmm. It has so many, like all the actual founding fathers
die immediately, right? During the
signing
the declaration.
The people who signed the declaration all died from an explosion from Benedict Arnold. But it has like Abraham Lincoln, who was alive like 30 years later. John Henry, who is the blacksmith, who was a legend, but it took place 100 years later. Geronimo is like another person an actual person who was alive 100 years later. So take Thomas Edison. Mm-hmm.
It's taking just iconic figures and putting them all in the same timeline.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like they're Avengers of America's Avengers.
And it's like they tried to be inclusive by making Thomas Edison a Chinese woman.
Which was weird. It did not. I was not into that. Like
it had nothing to do with anything.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I'm trying to say. It's like if that's why for me, it's like I don't feel like they actually. Some of the writers didn't actually care about inclusion. They were just doing it because it's like, well, we gotta.
Exactly.
Yeah,
it's fashionable.
That was that character. It was the I gotta do it inclusion, and it did not work at all for me. It was just weird. The whole character was weird. I was like, why is
it was just being very satirical of American history and how people view it.
Mm-hmm.
And so here's another thing. This is just something I couldn't tell if it was just a flaw in the writing or if it was they were trying to show this as like intentional. But Sammy Eddie's character, Sam Adams, he like whenever he was given his little pep rally speech, he was just kind of like whenever George Washington was trying to recruit him and be like, yeah, well, I hate the fun police, the Brits or whatever. Mm-hmm. And Sam Adams was like, yeah, I hate them too. They always like end our parties. And he's like, he makes the joke like, they just hate anyone who looks different, or, you know, people just, they hate people who look different from us. So you're like, oh, okay. They're making a joke about how, you know, America's clearly racist. But then literally the next scene when they meet Thomas Edison,
it's like, oh, it's a woman.
He's like super racist and misogynistic. So it's like, okay. And then it's like they changed his character. And I couldn't tell if they were like trying to point out hypocrisy.
It's probably just
or if
both.
it was just bad writing. Like they just changed his character.
You skipped over the Fast and the Furious horse racing scene.
Oh, that was my favorite.
There are so many
ridiculous.
references in this movie. So Michael, you had a game.
Yeah.
Or a little
Yeah,
thing
a game
about
I
how
did.
yeah, what movies were
Okay, so the game is what movies did the writers of this movie think America is about? And I picked 3 movies that were clear references of what they feel like the America is about with this movie. Did you guys want to play it now?
Sure, let's do it.
Like I'm
I mean, so all I can think about is just the movies that they reference.
Yeah, there's a whole bunch of movie references, but there's some that they like really referenced.
Yeah, that's what's going on.
Like I know number 1 is Return of the Jedi. Like the last half of the movie is
I wrote that
all about Return of the
really
Jedi.
The email, I mean the group chat, Return of the Jedi.
Yeah.
That's what he's turning into, but
And
all
so
right.
number 1 is definitely Return of the Jedi.
It might be in there. It might be on my list. I don't know. But all right, so it's going to be best of 3. That's basically the idea here. So what the rules are, I'm going to give you 3 clues to start, and one of you guys got to guess the movie. And if you don't guess it, I'll give 2 more clues. And if you don't guess it, then we'll move on.
Okay.
Let's do it.
Do you guys want to just shout it out or go for each person?
Shout it out.
Yeah, it's we'll turn this into a competition.
Yes.
All right.
I wish I had a buzzer.
So the first one, Nazis, hospital, X-rated movie theater.
I just realized I'm the worst at the game because I haven't seen so many movies.
I'm trying to think of how to put those all together.
Oh, they're together.
Nazis, hospital. What was the other one?
X-rated movie theater.
X-rated movie theater.
And we have to guess the movie that this relates it to.
Mm-hmm. Do you want the last 2 clues?
Yes. Please.
Yes, because my mind's
Help.
going down a road that's
Help.
like
Subway in Moors. Or The Moors.
The Moors?
Uh-huh.
I don't even know what that is.
2 O's.
I still don't know what that is.
I'm stumped.
All right. The answer was An American Werewolf in London.
Okay, God damn it! I was even thinking that because the werewolf
They're Nazi
is
werewolves. That's
Benedict Arnold.
Yeah, in the movie, the werewolf, he's a werewolf.
Yeah.
Benedict Arnold, who's from London, and they kind of flipped it.
Yeah, I was thinking that he's working for the British, and he's like it doesn't even hide that he's a werewolf.
Yeah.
Just first thing you see him, he's a werewolf.
Yep. So werewolf in London.
I was thinking that I just didn't relate. I haven't seen it in so long, so I couldn't put those combination words together.
Yeah, I tried to make it not on point. I tried to make it a little use your brain
like
a little bit.
Super obvious.
Werewolf, moons. Yeah, you know.
London.
All right, so that's the mulligan. All right, this one. All right, here's your 3 clues to the next one.
Mm-hmm.
Cave, magnets, Jericho.
Cave, magnets, Jericho.
Don't look at me. You know. You already know. I have no clue.
Let me get 2. Let me get 1 more.
Burger King.
Let me get another one.
Arc reactor.
Iron Man.
Yep.
Yeah, it's because Thomas Edison.
Thomas Edison
turns
is
into
Iron Man.
Yeah, the Jericho project at the very beginning. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I remember that. I even have that in my notes. Like she just turns into Iron Man with the hand blasters, and then eventually the rocket boots.
Yep. All right, we'll go for in the last one. The first 3: sand, forests, and a pit.
Return of the Jedi.
Yep. David wins. Oh man, who saw that coming?
Who could have guessed?
There's so many other movie references. in there.
These ones were
There
the
really
top. I
are.
think the top 3 were this. Well, top
Well,
3
I
to
think
me.
the most-
Patriot
So
was
going
the
on
next
Iron
one.
Man, I think just Avengers referenced
Yeah.
twice.
Yep.
Infinity War and Endgame.
This is the Avengers of America. That's what it is.
Yeah, that was
Well,
definitely their
it's-
take.
In the final battle, Endgame is referenced when Thomas Edison charges John Henry's hammer that looks like Mjolnir.
Oh, that's right. I remember that now.
And then before that, in Infinity War,
Thor charges.
well,
Captain America's hammer.
no, that was the Infinity War reference.
Okay.
In Endgame, I think it's when he turns into Mega Wolf
Oh.
and starts beating everybody up, and then he's about to win,
Uh-huh.
and like holding George Washington by the neck, about to win and all that, and then they finish them off that way.
Let's talk about the tea turning people British.
Yeah, there's
that's kind of funny, but it's also so dumb.
I mean, to me, I thought it was fitting for the like silliness of the movie. I don't see how beer is supposed to be the opposite of tea, because it's actually like not that far away.
Well, I think it's just the whole thing with Sam Adams and beer.
True.
And then she's like, I reversed the polarity of the tea to turn it into beer, so now everyone's turning
Yeah, because that
American.
makes sense.
Yeah, it's like,
but
okay.
like that is like, those aren't the flaws for me, because like the movie is just ridiculous, and I like the ridiculousness of the movie, and I like how everyone's like a bro. That's funny to me, but yeah, it's the other stuff.
I don't know what it was. I feel like I should have liked this movie more, but I don't know what it was. I was just not into it. Anything. There's just like a couple parts that made me laugh. Wait, I might be thinking of another movie. Sorry. I don't think anything made me laugh. Sorry. Let's scratch that. Yeah. Nothing really made me laugh. It was just so dumb. And I think, I don't know what it was. It was just too dumb for me.
Here's something I always will complain about this in a movie. I hate when a movie calls out things in the movie, like
Except
it breaks
for
the
Fast and
fourth wall.
Furious.
Except for Fast and Furious, that doesn't count. But the way they do it in this movie is, for example, whenever there's the scene where George Washington is like cracking that code.
When he's doing the hacking scene?
Yeah, he's doing the hacking scene, but there's a moment where he actually calls something out, kind of like they just call it out where it's like, good thing you knew how to do that. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah, that's
or
right.
it's like there's another moment whenever Benjamin Franklin is talking about the acts of the movie. He was like, man, this would be the end of the first act of my life.
That's a line too, or that's like, I think that's a famous quote. That
Oh,
he says
okay.
too.
Well, but they do it more than once though.
Yeah, well, it's all
they
like
not
tear
only
down
do
that
it then.
wall, which is also Berlin Wall reference.
Mm-hmm.
And this is where I started like to figure out what is the most recent reference.
Or like whenever George Washington is having the dream where he sees Abe Lincoln, and
the writers couldn't afford the scene.
That I thought was kind of funny because they were making fun of like the flaws in production.
Did you guys recognize the set though?
No, what was it?
That's Reservoir Dogs.
Oh, really?
Oh,
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
And that's when like Quentin Tarantino did that, and he only had a few $1,000s to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Or he had it was a super low budget movie, and it took place most of the time in that warehouse.
I see. That wasn't the flaw for me, even though they did do it there. No, what was a flaw is then Abe Lincoln was like, yeah, you'll probably have a fight scene in about 30 minutes.
Oh.
Yeah.
And it's like, like you're breaking it. I'm trying to just enjoy the fact. I just don't like whenever movies call out. They take you out of the immersion, but it's not even clever. It's just like, why would you? It's just, to me, it's lazy. I just don't like it.
They do it earlier when they're like, "Oh, you're the mini boss. Go do your thing." That's
What are you, a mini boss?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, it was. I think it was trying too hard to be pop culture-y.
Yeah.
Like when they said, like, it was like little things too. Like when they called Boston Wild Wings. Like, it's funny, but it's like, okay, but it's stuff like that. Or
that made me laugh when you said it. I didn't even know that was in the movie.
yeah, he said Boston Wild Wings, but it's like
And then
they
he
were
says
just trying to
B-dubs.
make so many cultural jokes now.
Mm.
Like when they're saying John Wick, the candle maker.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah. That guy's
Or-
fucking psycho.
Yeah. It was little weird stuff like that I just thought it was too much.
Mm-hmm.
Like making time appropriate jokes, not as well, making a pop culture joke more time appropriate. I thought would have been funnier.
Mm-hmm. And the Vietnam bar was really weird. Like,
Yeah, like, well, that was a whole political thing about Vietnam.
yeah.
Where like
But why is
we
it-
never won it.
Why does it have to be in this movie about the Revolutionary War? It's just things like that. They threw in way too many like time period things, and I wish they would just kept it the Revolutionary War. I think it would have been better served.
Well, I think they were just trying to say too much, but also be funny. And I mean, I thought the movie was funny. It just too much of it kind of took it away, especially for an hour and a half long movie.
Yeah.
And who wrote it? Didn't he write some actually good movies and randomly
Yeah,
wrote
the
this?
writer, he was part of. He did some of Wonder Woman and like Mortal Kombat, a bunch of movies like that.
Yeah, those movies watchable. This movie, not watchable.
I feel like the first like 20 or 30 minutes though, I was really into it. Like I thought it was hilarious. They were making the Founding Fathers bros. They were doing beer pong. there's the whole scene with like the dove turning into the bald eagle from coming out of the fire. Like ridiculous, stupid, bro-y, funny. There's like the reference to Fast and Furious.
Yeah, like all the horses.
Yeah, like I was like, okay, and it was just like joke after joke, and some were like subtle, stupid jokes, like, but then it's just like they just like ran out of ideas, and it just really dragged for me after a while.
Well, it's like what I mean about like the time appropriate jokes too is like they had the Blue Man Group up
yeah, like that was
but it was like the red, white, and blue man group, which is funny.
Yeah, exactly.
But also the way they did it was stomp.
Yeah.
So that's also what I mean by they were making references, but they were making wrong references.
Yeah.
Like we know what you're going for. It's a clever name, but then what they were doing is something that they do in Stomp.
Onto the bro-ness. I'm personally like over the Sam Adams actor. What's his name?
Jason something.
Yeah, it's just the character he does and everything he does, and everybody wants it, so it's in a lot of content like media out there now. So I'm just like
Jason Mantzoukas?
Something like that, but
I don't know.
He's funny, but it's just like he does the same thing in everything, and it's just the same thing. There's no like growth. It's just that character, and I'm personally over it. And I think that's what was a big part of this movie for me was him playing Sam Adams the way he did, that's how he was written, obviously, but it was just like not working.
Well, it's also the play on Sam Adams, the beer. That's why he's all about the beer. So at that frat house, they do another like funny not culturally, like time period joke. So in the background, they're talking about the fraternity says join or die, which was actually a political cartoon from Ben Franklin, which, okay, it's a political cartoon, but it was like relevant to that time period. It was a first colonial political piece, which it's a snake that's cut up and it represents all the colonies. And so it was like, join this frat house or die. Like that was, to me, that was funny. It's clever. Intelligent.
Yeah.
Didn't even catch it.
But then you have their, the frat, which is Delta Iota Chi, which is a triangle, an I, and an X.
Oh.
And if you go with Delta, it's a D. So their shirt almost said dicks, which I thought was super funny. I don't know if that's what they were going for or not.
For sure. It wasn't an accident.
But it was definitely, his name was, like, the frat's name was Dicks.
Well, yeah, no, I definitely think that was, like, that's what I'm saying. Like, there were a lot of jokes that were, like, yeah, like, they were kind of hidden. You would have to know what, those symbols represent and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, so I'm sorry, go on.
Anyway, but it all ties back to, I feel like half the writers actually had, like, interesting ideas, and then the other half just kind of didn't, and it just felt disingenuous.
Well, yeah, so the writer, David Callahan, we don't even know, Dave Callahan is a writer. We don't even know if he had a writer's room or if it was just him.
Oh, well, if it was just him, then one side of his personality was on point, the other side, I don't know.
We also don't know how many changes and drafts were done, so.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I'm not blaming solely the writers. I think it was just all around, it felt to me very discombobulated. It felt like some of the people working on it actually had good ideas. They were clever. They were, witty, right for the moment. And then the other half is just like awkward, cringy, forceful. I can't really believe they really care about what they're doing.
Yeah, I think that was the most. It was a lot of like forced jokes. Because, I have like a list of like however many different jokes. Like, an example of a bad one would be like, when it said George Washington invented peanut butter, but George Washington Carver was known for all the
and they
peanuts.
He doesn't like correct her. He's just like, yep.
Yeah, and then they do stuff like, but then there's other funny ones like, let me just look through my list here. Give me a minute. No, it's mostly just forced ones. Or it's little things like the Paul Bunyan in his ox at the final battle. They kept on bringing in all these American legends like Johnny Appleseed. And it's like
shooting out
those
apple seeds.
Yeah, those are funny. Like it doesn't have to make sense. And a national treasure reference at the very end.
And there's also RoboCop.
Paul Revere turns into Robo Centaur.
Yeah.
But even like they were saying, like going back on the edgy stuff, they kept on calling him a racist, but as a racer.
That was funny.
Which is funny.
Yeah.
Because it's calling him a racist.
I'm
like
the fastest racist.
Yeah.
Round.
But it's clever without the expense of somebody.
Yeah.
Or true expense of somebody.
Yeah, they were just being silly.
Now that we're discussing it, I think Abbie is dead on with how the writing is. Like, I feel like they should have went with the clever more than the crude.
Oh,
crass.
absolutely.
because those were the good parts of the movie.
Yeah, in my list, like the unnecessary jokes outweigh the funny jokes or like clever jokes. Like they also say something like in the box of calling itself out, the box of backstory was just pictures of him and Abe Lincoln, which again, Abe Lincoln doesn't make sense to be in the story. But then they're talking about like how some of them were just like listening to Kid Rock all the time, which makes Kid Rock immortal, which I'm here for. Like I'm in that conspiracy now. Is that Kid Rock is immortal and he's a vampire? It's funny stuff like that.
Yeah, there was
that I
silly
enjoy.
stuff. Yeah, there was silly stuff that I enjoyed too.
But also, one of the other funny things going back on the E's is like it was George Washington. Who were the other two E's?
Oh.
Sam Adams with an E was a streetcar racer.
Oh, yeah.
And then there's a third one that was a pro wrestler. But it's a play on words that they were doing that was funny. Like Mount Lustmore was the strip club. The blacksmith was called, or his shop was called I'd Hit That.
Oh.
Like it's like those funny play on words that are funny, not the expanse. It's
Who
just
were the dinosaur farmers? I feel like it was 3 people that were funny.
Yeah, it was a dinosaur farmer, the street racer, and the professional wrestler.
Well, they all showed up at the
And
end,
at the
right?
end, like, come on,
it was
Ease.
Hulk Hogan. That's right. Wasn't Hulk
I
Hogan
didn't
one
even
of them?
catch that.
Yeah.
Yeah, he
did
said,
not
let's
even-
go Ease.
Yeah, that's right.
Oh, that's funny. I like when people bring stuff back around. I did not even recognize that was in there.
I wish we got a little more in dinosaur farmer. I'm really interested on what a dinosaur farmer does. Like, do they farm dinosaurs, or do they have dinosaurs like plow in the fields? Like, how do you think a dinosaur farm works?
it is a breeding place, but they also use them as labor to keep the breeding going without their.
Yeah, that'd be interesting to see a dinosaur. Well,
what type of dinosaur? Because there's
he
only
was-
so many
he was
that
riding
you
the
would
T-Rex.
trust.
I would imagine they would have it would be like Jurassic Park, but the farming version, where they would get all the different dinosaurs. They would assign them different roles within the farm community. Like they would have the fish dinosaurs to do the whatever you do with fish on a farm. Then you would have T-Rexes with plows so you can get that grain going.
Why would you give the dinosaur with no arms a plow?
Because he can't do anything.
Well,
He's
you can
just
put it behind
all
him.
legs. He's all legs.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I was thinking of the.
Oh,
thing
him
that's
like
plowing.
wheels.
Oh,
Yeah,
no,
I was
what
like,
the-
why would you do
little
that?
tiny arm.
I was talking about someone riding the T-Rex with the plow behind them.
Oh, okay. That
But
makes a
him
lot
pushing
more
the plow is even funnier.
But yeah, I was like, why would you make
Yeah.
a T-Rex push a plow?
That should have been the movie Dinosaur Farmers. Where you at, Hollywood? We
They
got
should have
this.
just incorporated dinosaurs into it more.
Yeah. I really want more dinosaurs.
Who doesn't?
And then you could have put the Dennis Nutterly in there, like stealing the dino DNA from the
Yeah, like from Jurassic Park,
Yeah.
taken out of the amber.
Yeah.
Going back to the Fast and Furious reference when they're racing the horses. Another thing about the clever jokes. So they say they live his life 1/4 mule at a
Oh
time.
yeah, I caught that. That was funny.
Which is 1/4 mile, but a quarter horse is what's used for sprinting, which is a play on. There's no such thing as a quarter mule. That's a play on words, but a quarter horse is a horse that Paul Revere was riding that's made for sprinting quarter miles. So it's like that kind of jokes I could appreciate. It's
yeah,
like, oh,
absolutely.
that's funny.
Yeah.
But then I also appreciate the jokes like the chainsaw Wolverine, how George Washington just says chainsaws.
Just has
Oh,
chainsaws.
I
Yeah,
did-
like
that was really weird and random.
It was real weird, and I loved it. Or like how Benedict Arnold like escaped on a jet ski.
Oh,
see, that's what I'm saying. Like the silly, ridiculous. Okay, yes, I'm totally there for it. It's just the forced jokes just really killed the mood, man.
Yeah.
Really killed the mood.
So do you guys notice also towards like the big thing they're going is they kept on saying the Gettysburg Address or Gettysburg Address.
Yeah.
And it's like he's saying that weird. It's like no,
Yeah.
that's gonna be a big thing is address versus address.
Yeah.
And it's actually that's when you go to the
address.
the hack. It's One America Street. It's like oh my god. And it's like that's why you've been saying address, not address.
didn't even catch that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
I was
did.
not.
'Cause
I
it
was
just
checked
bugged
out
me.
of this movie.
Because it just bugged me the way he kept on saying Gettysburg Address, not Gettysburg.
No, he was saying.
I keep saying it the right way. It's
Gettysburg address
Gettysburg Address.
instead of address.
Gettysburg
Which
Address.
two different words. To
I'm
To
gonna
address
someone.
to address something.
I'm gonna address you.
Yeah.
No,
you would never say
address.
I'd address.
I know, I'm
street
saying it
name.
wrong on purpose.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And it's like I noticed it's like there's something off with what you're saying. I don't like it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I noticed it too. Was that who played George Washington?
Channing Tatum.
Really?
Hunky boy.
For sure. I didn't know who played it, but then like halfway through, I thought it was oh gosh, why am I so bad with names? The guy who you guys don't like. I'm calling you out. We might want to cut
Pratt.
this. Chris Pratt. I thought it was Chris Pratt the whole time, and I was just like, whenever I heard him in my head as Chris Pratt, I just couldn't see George Washington anymore. I just saw Chris Pratt. To me, I thought that's who was playing.
I think he nailed it. Channing Tatum.
Yeah, I think he did really well.
He
for
does.
it.
He
so
did
many
a great Chris Pratt impersonation to me. I mean, he nailed that.
Like Chris Pratt would have had no personality.
So
To
did you
me,
guys-
it sounded just like him. I swear.
So going back on however many movies were referenced.
Yeah.
Did you guys notice the 3 big ones in the final battle? Obviously, Star Wars being one.
Return of the Jedi.
Well, not necessarily Return of the Jedi.
Oh, there was also Empire with the walkers.
Yeah, with the
the
British
walkers.
walkers.
Yeah.
And there's two other big ones.
I'm guessing it had to do with
One's a trilogy.
the giant blue
Was it
bowl.
Lord
I didn't
of the
understand what
Rings?
that
No,
was.
that's Paul Bunyan and his.
Oh,
his
Lord
oxide.
of the Rings. Yeah, definitely. With
Yeah,
the
Lord of the
elephants.
Rings because the elephants.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I
And
noticed
the
that.
marching when they're marching in with the band, like that's
Yeah.
all in Return of the King.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And there's one last one. It's the thing that Paul Bunyan fights.
I don't remember.
Oh, I
who
thought
he
it was like the
fights.
Mecha Streisand from South Park. That's what I thought of it.
Oh, it's just. I mean, it's just. I just put Transformers.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah,
okay,
the clock that was a
But if you
transformer.
want to get
Yeah, I
real
noticed
deep, it
that
could just be
too.
like from Big.
Uh-huh.
Have you guys seen the movie with Tom Hanks?
I have, but I don't remember the
Yeah, I don't
clock.
either.
So they're designing it. He's a kid in a man's body designs a toy, but
Oh
one scene
yeah, in the toy.
they're saying like, look at this
house?
toy, and it's a building transforming.
Uh-huh.
And he's like, why? Like, it's not as fun. But then I don't know if they're referencing that or just Transformers.
I
but
do
it's
like
that's a
how the
weird
cuckoo
connection.
clock comes out and kills Paul Bunyan. That made me
Yeah, that
laugh.
was pretty funny.
That part made me laugh.
Do we have any? Oh yeah, I had one other thing before I'm done talking.
Yeah.
Because there's not much more to say about this that we haven't already said. But so there's a Baby Driver reference when they're chasing after Benedict Arnold
Mhm.
through the streets, and it's where Paul Revere drifts a horse, it turns backwards, and then
Mhm.
goes back forwards. Like that's in Baby Driver in the first scene
Mhm.
or in the first chase sequence. During that scene in Baby Driver, I think it's Run the Jewels is playing in the background,
Mhm.
and John Henry
He's
is played
Killer
by
Mike.
Killer Mike,
Yeah.
who's in Run the Jewels.
Yeah.
I thought that was, I don't know if they were doing it for that reason, but that was a fun little thing where it's like
Yeah.
Baby Driver Run the Jewels, Killer Mike Run the Jewels.
I just stopped paying attention of the references after a while. I was just like, oh, I'm pretty sure that's reference. That's another
Mhm.
reference.
Yeah, there's a lot of
And I'm guessing
lot
the
of
jet
references.
ski escape is from Tiger King. That one guy on the jet ski.
Oh,
That's all I
yeah.
was thinking of. The one dude on the jet ski throughout the whole thing.
yeah. There's just a whole lot of references.
Yeah. All right. That I don't really have much more to say.
Nope.
Yeah, we'll just moving the reviews in.
Yeah. The ratings. Let's rate it. Who wants to go first? Anybody?
I'll go last.
Okay.
I'll give it like 3.5 brewskis out of 10.
Ooh,
I'm gonna give it 2 unnecessary werewolves out of 10.
I'm going a lot higher than you guys. I'm giving it 6 giant silver spoons out of 10.
Oh yeah, we kind of even omitted Geronimo a lot. Like that was just a weird character there. I don't know.
There's a whole
It was
bunch about
awkward.
him.
It was just awkward.
There's a whole bunch about it that
super awkward.
yeah.
The whole ending was awkward. Like, oh, what about the slaves? What about women? Do we get equal rights?
Yeah, and then it just need to end at that point.
Yeah. They should have just faded out with everyone saying things instead of 40 more people shouting.
That's what I'm trying to say. The people who stuck that in, I feel like those were the writers who actually like cared about civil rights.
Mhm.
And the whole rest of the movie was just like, we just want to like, ride the
So
bandwagon.
before we burn out, just like that movie did at the ending, we'll wrap this up.
Yeah,
Yep.
let's do it. All right, as always, like, subscribe, follow
All the socials.
on
Yep.
YouTube,
YouTube.
Instagram,
Spotify.
TV Party Time or TV Party Time Pod.
You can look at both, and
Yep.
they'll come out no matter what. So
Yep.
preferably, you can go to our links on Facebook or Instagram and lead you to both.
That's right.
Do it. Or
Alrighty.
die. Do it or die. What was that? What was the
Ju-
one?
Yeah, listen or die.
Listen or die. I'll personally make you die.
Oh my.
Just kidding. Okay.
Alrighty.